Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everybody. Logie Bear here, and guess what? I gotta be honest. My life has been completely consumed by Marvel Rivals. This game is incredible. It has stolen all of my free time, and I thought, what better way to kick off the YouTube channel again than with a Marvel Rivals tier list video. So we're going to review all of the heroes and villains, I guess, so to speak, in Marvel Rivals. Go down the list. Adam Warlock. Okay. I think Adam Warlock is probably one of the better, secondary supports. So I think Adam Warlock probably goes B, right? Because he doesn't have a lot of healing. Truthfully, he doesn't. Right, his skill set is more support. He is not a primary healer. He's really good with like a Luna or a Mantis, right? But the thing that makes Adam Warlock really good is that passive, right? Especially with the other Guardians of the Galaxy, having them be able to respawn, and him being able to respawn with the Cocoon is really good. Now, Black Panther, I actually think Black Panther is B as well, because I'm gonna be honest, only played him a couple times. Very, very fun character. Right, but the melee does give him a disadvantage. His ult is incredible if you can time it properly, and his team up, with magic, very well done. The fact that they can teleport. Black Widow, honestly, D tier, genuinely not a good character at all. Don't know how Marvel Rivals and Overwatch both managed to turn female snipers into bad characters, but they did. The redeeming factor for Black Widow is her team passive with Hawkeye. That is kind of one of the only redeeming factors for her in that way, salvaging her from F tier. Hulk, honestly, is my second least favorite tank. I've really only ever played him a couple times. I just don't like his kit, I'm going to be honest. I think, though, that he is a B tier tank. I think his 3-stage ult is kind of cool. I love that the playing off of Banner and him. I think that's very interesting. Captain America, again, honestly, he goes B tier as well. Cap is my main tank. If I'm playing tank, I'm most likely playing Captain America. But the thing with Cap is, yeah, it's fun. You're going up and you're boxing people. You're throwing your shield around. You're getting mixy. You're in there. Your ult is like a really good support ult, right? Giving bonus health and damage reduction, which is fantastic. But again, he is not a good solo tank. He's great at diving the backline and being annoying and drawing attention away from the point and that sort of thing. But I'm not going to put him in A or S tier because he just doesn't have the damage output. Cloak and Dagger, honestly, is S tier. Cloak and Dagger's ult is insane. The amount of healing that it does, the amount of damage that it can do. This is where Moira mains live from Overwatch. Shout out to Kyle. He's been on the channel a couple times. He's a goated Cloak and Dagger. Absolutely insane healer. Definitely a very, 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 very good primary healer. With Doctor Strange is easily the best tank in the game right now, by far. I suck as Doctor Strange. I haven't mastered him by any means. But Doctor Strange is insane. With the amount of damage blocking that he does with his shield, his ult, the flying, everything. He is the best solo tank in the game. He's an insane primary tank. The fact that he can just go up and block ults is insane, right? He can block the Magneto, the Hela, even in some regards, the Scarlet Witch ult. He can block a lot of that, which is awesome. Okay. Groot, I'm going to stick in A. Because while Groot may not be the best damage dealer or the best healer and anything like that, he's very well rounded. His walls are extremely powerful, also extremely detrimental. Okay, if you're a Groot main, stop blocking your team. Okay, be a little wiser about it, please. Hawkeye, see, this is the thing with Hawkeye. I'm putting him in C tier because his skill gap is very high. In the sense that a good Hawkeye completely changes the flow of the game and is insane. And you actually have to plan around changing line of sight and making sure that you solo him out because his damage output is incredible. And when you nail his shooting style with the right arrow over the shoulder type of thing, insane. His ult is dummy broken. I cannot stand Hawkeye's ult. I think it's ridiculous that he can just do headshot damage to clones. I think that is ridiculous. But the only reason I put him in C tier is because his skill gap is so high. 90% of Hawkeye people are garbage. And I say that as Hawkeye being one of my favorite Avengers in the MCU and just in Marvel in general. He was the first person I played and was like, yeah, no, ain't for me. So everybody listening to this, I'm sorry, but you're probably not that good at Hawkeye and you need to find somebody else. Hela, A tier. Hela is absurd. Her ult is stupid broken, and the fact that she got a buff, I guess I'll rephrase, it's not a buff, but the fact that her ult wasn't performing properly and was already dummy broken, and then they added the fact that, like, oh yeah, she's supposed to have even more damage reduction from certain damage types, and then they put that back in the game, is insane. The splash damage on her ult is insane. The fact that she has an incredible escape with her bird raven form thing is crazy. The reason she's not in S tier is because her basic attacks, while they do a ton of damage, you actually have to hit them. And so with all that being said, Hela is very much in that same range as Hawkeye of, like, if you can hit your shots, you're going to do mega damage. If you can't, you're not really going to be helping your team all that much until you get your ult. Iron Fist is just the dumbest, brokenest, stupidest character in all of Marvel Rivals. As a mainly like tank and like support role, I don't play a ton of DPS just because Iron Fist sucks. In the fact that, like, he is stupid broken in that, like, he has auto aim with his ult. He doesn't even have to, like, look at you and fists are just flying and punching you. And the fact that he can jump 4 times and get up into max height and fight an Iron Man is just stupid broken. And then you add the fact that he gets damage reduction. The more damage he does in his ult is ridiculous. Absolutely asinine to me in that way. So if you're an Iron Fist main, great. I'm glad that you're maximizing on his abilities. Absolutely great. But to NetEase Games, please take a look at his damage reduction in his ult, like the extra shields and health that he gets. Iron Man, I'm gonna put Iron Man in A tier because he has that consistent damage. Right. The thing with Iron Man that I've seen a lot is that, like, Iron Man may not necessarily get a ton of eliminations, but if you're doing it right and you're throwing damage down, great, right? Because you can fly up to the point of the map and you can just hit your supercharge ability and you can just throw those shots downrange and do a ton of splash damage. You're very good at zoning, which is absolutely massive. And then the Unibeam, right? You get that Spider-Man or those divers attacking, you can just Unibeam them out. It's fantastic. His ult is either the best thing in the game or the worst thing in the game, right? And I've seen many people hit the 4 or 5 man ults, but I've also seen people miss completely. And so he gets the A tier for that. Jeff, S tier. I hate Jeff and everything that he stands for because his ult is dummy broken. But I have to put him in S tier because his healing output is absurdly high. And his little health pack orb things that he has can, be used in tons of different circumstances to give you that speed boost, that healing. And the fact that his ult is so game-changing does put him in S tier. As much as I hate it, Loki, honestly, Loki's a B tier healer. To me, I stick him on the same range as, say, like an Adam Warlock, right, where he does have more consistent healing, absolutely. And Loki's ult is really good, but I think Loki right now really struggles. I think maybe, let me rephrase, Loki players right now don't fully know how to utilize them, myself included. Because, yeah, you can place his clones around and you can teleport between them and you can go invisible and everything. I think Loki mains often start focusing too much on the sneaky part of him as opposed to being that, like, true support main that he is. Luna Snow. By golly, this character is absurdly good. Absurdly powerful. Only ever played her a couple times. Her ult is insane, the damage and the healing aspect of it. Her freeze is absurd. And just her whole healing output is insane. A good Luna Snow can solo heal. Like, without a doubt, a good Luna Snow can solo heal. And that, to me, is crazy. Squirrel Girl, A tier for sure. Definitely becoming more of a go-to DPS player for myself. I think her ult sucks. I think the Squirrel Stampede is a terrible ult. But her damage output and splash damage is absurd. And for that, she gets A tier, right? If you're consistently, and her Acorn Trap is nuts, right? That complete immobilization, chef's kiss. Absolutely. Magneto, I am actually going to put Magneto in A tier because I think that he is a very good tank. I think that what he lacks for in, say, maneuverability and agileness, he just makes up for in straight steadfastness, right? Like, this guy is the backline defender. I'm going to throw up my shield. I'm going to shield my teammates. I got a little bit of range on my attacks, right? I can push people away if I need to with your ult fire. I think he is a truly good, very well-balanced tank. And his ult, while not necessarily the most powerful thing in the game, if used incorrectly, when used correctly and you absorb that projectile damage, whoa, that is incredible the amount of damage you can do with that ultimate. And his team up with Scarlet Witch is really fun. Swinging your big great sword around, awesome. So, Mantis. This is where I think I might tick some people off. I am putting Mantis at A tier. And here's why. I know. Too many Mantis mains focus on her primary damage and not enough on actually healing people. And her sedation, right? Her like sleeping ability is really hard to hit. At least I found that, and the Mantis players that I've talked to have found that. So for that, she gets A tier. Her ult is insane, right? But I see so many people misusing it. So many times I'll be playing Captain America, or often I'll switch and play Scarlet Witch or something, and I'll be diving the backline. And the amount of times I've just gotten panic ulted by Mantises is absurd. And so for that, I have to put it at A tier. Moon Knight, B tier. Only reason I'm putting Moon Knight in B tier is because you either come across the most goated Moon Knight in the world or the most trash Moon Knight in the world. But the skill gap is a little smaller than, say, a Hawkeye and a Black Widow, which is why he gets put in B tier. Those onks are dummy broken. It is absurd the amount of damage that you can do from that. His ult is very simple, very easy to use, very well done. It's just, again, that skill gap, right? If you can hit your shots as a Moon Knight, you're chilling. If not, you're not helping your team. Namor is C tier. I'm sorry. I love Namor. I've played him a little bit. He's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I think his water shield thing is insane. His turret octopus thing is really nice. His ult, not the greatest in that way, and his rate of fire sucks. And I understand he does a lot of damage with each of those tridents. But overall, his kit ain't very conducive for being, like, I would say, DPS. Penny is the other best tank in the game, by far, bar none, the second best tank in this game, without a doubt. On defense, she is the queen on defense, right? If you're pushing the point, you get your spider nest down, you get your mines out, game changing. And the fact that she has range damage is insane. You can just sit in the back and just be launching those cannons and just be slinging damage down range. Her ult, very well done. Very good at pushing, right? Very good at clearing a point, which is fantastic. Psylocke, needless to say, Psylocke is probably one of the best damage dealers in this game, bar none. The amount of times I get absolutely doo-dooed on by Psylocke is insane, right? Her ult is game-breaking in a good way, like game-changing. Her damage is absurd. She's got so much flankability, and very, like, difficult. Again, it's a skill gap, right? Like, she has those higher-tier movesets, but also is, like, very easy in the sense that it's like, oh, I'm just going to flank around and get behind. Punisher's going C tier. Because it's just like Hawkeye for me. It's either an insane Punisher or they're chewing drywall and licking walls in the back. There's no in between. And so for Punisher, right, very basic kit, right? Like, there's a reason Punisher is the one they teach you to use in the tutorial, right? It is the bog standard third person over the shoulder FPS style shooter. You get the shotgun, you get the turret, you get the AR. Boom, you're all, you just get miniguns, you get a smoke bomb and a zip line. Like, it's very, very basic stuff. But if used well, game changing. Right? Like, a good Punisher can completely shut down the other team's damage output. As much as I'm a Rocket main, he is my main healer for sure. I have to put him in B tier. Only because his damage and everything like that is hard to hit. His projectile is super weird. So in terms of like defending yourself and consistent damage, not very good. Your healing is great in the sense that like you have a lot of it, but you got to aim it properly. The orbs bounce. It's not as consistent. You throw a lot of it out there in hopes that people follow the orbs and get healed. Your respawn beacon, while is good, I don't actually think is fully utilized properly. I don't think a lot of people pick up the armor packs. I don't think a lot of people understand that aspect of him. And so for that, I think he gets B tier. I think his ult, again, while good, I don't think is as good as the other support ults in this. Scarlet Witch is my main DPS. I think that she is incredible, but I have to put her in B tier. Because while her kit is insanely simple, you aim, you use dark magic on people, you throw a stun, and then you wraith form, and then your ult is just a giant orb of death. That is also where her greatest downfalls are. Her ult is insanely powerful. I can understand that. I've hit in 4 and 5 man ults before. But that is like the 1% of times. The fact that not only does she give a map-wide verbal cue that she is ulting, the enemy team also gets a giant red and white exclamation mark showing them that she is ulting, and then they can just subsequently either kill her because she doesn't get any damage reduction, she doesn't get any extra health or anything, she doesn't turn into Hela and get extra damage or any like health or whatever. She just stands there, a complete and utter floating duck to be killed, right? And so like the thing with Scarlet Witch is you have to time her out perfectly or have lots and lots of teamwork to land it. I think that if Scarlet Witch just got a little bit of like a shield or a little bit of damage reduction, incoming damage reduction for her ult, she would be extremely well balanced. Spider-Man, honestly, I hate to do it, but Spider-Man gets A tier because while Spider-Man has tons of maneuverability and every damage thing in the game that makes him really well, I can't put him S tier because it's not as simple as the ones in S. Spider-Man has tons of maneuverability, lots of damage abilities. The amount of times I'm playing heal and I'm just getting dived on by a Spider-Man and I'm pinging it on the map or in game chat being like, help, I'm getting dove, please turn around. He doesn't go S tier because I've also seen a ton of bad Spider-Mans, right? Because of the maneuverability, the extreme agility that he has, and him being a melee character does warrant for more of a skill gap. So for that, he doesn't get S tier because when we look at the players in S, they're a little simpler to use. So for that, Spider-Man gets A tier. I ranked Magic in her place. Oh boy, that's awkward. Okay, so we're going to redo this. Okay, so Magic, because I'm blind and didn't look at this, realizing it's going alphabetical, Magic goes B tier because while she does a lot of damage, her kit is very simple to use. Her damage output is not consistent enough. She's the ultimate soloer. If you can get behind and land your combo on like a healer or something, you're chilling, you're doing well. But 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna land it because you're gonna get dove, and so you need to. A lot of people will use both her dashes in, and then it's like, well, now I have nothing to escape. So it's understanding positioning and different things like that put her in B tier. Okay, so now everything I said about Squirrel Girl before. Honestly, yeah, Star-Lord is getting A tier because I just hate him. Let me rephrase. I don't hate him. I hate playing against a good Star-Lord because it is game-changing. Somebody who can master the maneuverability and the damage output of his guns, props to you. But 9 times out of 10, my Star-Lords are garbage and don't understand his kit or understand how to use him, and they think they're going to float to the top of the map and just blast his blasters at people. It's like, well, no, you're not utilizing his other 2 abilities, which are fairly close range. So for that, it's again, it's that skill gap, right? He doesn't reach that S tier because he's not as, easy to use as, say, Psylocke or something. His ult is stupid. I absolutely hate his ult. Storm gets C tier. I'm sorry. She's probably one of the least played heroes in the entire game. Her ult, again, not game-changing enough in the sense that like a good Storm changes the game. Bad Storm almost affects your team more in negative ways. She is by far my least played hero, and I just don't like her. It's that simple. I think her damage boost and buffs to her team are good, but it's like I don't think she has enough to impact the flow of the game unless you're insanely good. Thor is probably the worst tank in the game. His ult is terrible. I'm sorry. Thor's ult is garbage. The only redeeming factor of Thor is if a Hela is on your team and you can get revived. His kit is surprisingly difficult with his Thor lightning thing that you have to keep up. His leap is weird. He should be able to fly. I just don't like this version of Thor. I don't think that this Thor should be a tank. I honestly think this Thor should be a DPS. And I think you need more ranged attacks with Thor. I think you should be able to channel lightning and different things. Because over that, I think he's D tier. For Venom, I think second worst tank in the game. I'm being honest. Okay, I find too many Venoms diving the backline and not understanding that like you tank a lot of damage. His ult, I've never really found any good luck with his ult. I don't like it, if I'm being honest. I think his maneuverability is really good, which is why it saves him from D tier, if I'm being completely honest. But he's dummy easy in that like he gets the extra damage and everything, but I don't think a lot of people fully utilize his kit properly. Bucky is S tier. His ult is game changing. You are landing shots as Bucky, you are demolishing the other team without a doubt. His grab is insane. It's like year one hog. Holy man, I was around the corner on the push map on Asgard with the goats. I was around that first corner and I got pulled around the corner. It's absurd. I think that the simplicity of him is very simple. You get 3 shots, you hit 3 shots, boom, you're killing somebody. He's got a little bit of escape with the dash and different things. Very well done. His ult is game changing. He throws damage down. Wolverine, B tier. I'm going to be honest. My friend Cooper's probably going to watch this. Shout out Cooper. You're goated on Wolverine. I love playing Wolverine with you. Everybody else sucks. He is like one of the least played DPS that I have seen, without a doubt. His team up with Hulk is fun, but sucks. He just turns to a ball and gets yeeted across the map. Like, what? What is this? You're supposed to be immune, right? Like, you would think that, like, they would play on that, like, I don't know, play on that more as, like, a creator. Also, the fact that, like, he's not in his, like, X-Men suit normally triggers me. I'm gonna be honest. I do not like this character design without the helmet and the hood and everything. I think it's kind of stupid that he's not in his traditional blue and yellow Wolverine suit. I think that that's dumb, that that's a microtransaction. But that's not necessarily gameplay. That's more game development. I digress. Overall, that is my tier list for Marvel Rivals. I am surprised to see 3 supports up there. But honestly, I think the supports in this game are super well done. Honestly, Marvel Rivals is insane. So if you have ever wanted to try a MOBA style shooter, like an arena style shooter, Marvel Rivals is free. It's on every console. It's crossplay. I'm not sponsored by them. Would love to be someday. But go and check them out. Marvel Rivals is awesome. There is a character for everybody. Okay, so that's my tier list. Let me know in the comments if you liked it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you hated it. I don't know. But with that said, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/LoganBear74.